Okay, it's 3:01, so we will start the August meeting of the Urban Design Commission. For this meeting, the elected chair and vice chair have announced they won't be here today, so the remaining committee members need to elect a chair before we begin the rest of the business.
I'll make a motion for Mr. John Robison to be chair today.
I'll second that.
Vote?
Oh, am I the chair now?
Well,
We need a vote.
We need a vote.
Who's going to call the vote? You?
Sure, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, John will serve as the chair for this meeting.
We're all
You
fine.
can remain seated, John.
Okay. Okay, so we'll start with the roll call.
George McQuistion, Brian Fitzsimmons, Betsy Brunstetter, Donna Cervantes,
Present.
Jorge Charnico, Matt Guillory, John Robison,
Here.
Ben Sellers,
Present.
and Jeff Struble. Here. You have a quorum.
Okay. Is there any additions or corrections to the minutes? If not, may we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve July minutes.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. Let's see. Okay, so we'll move over to the consent docket. You want to say something about that?
Yes, this item's been placed on the consent docket for action by the commission. Unless somebody on the commission wishes to pull this item off the consent docket, the commission could move to just approve the docket and move forward with the rest of the agenda. If there is someone on the commission who wishes to pull the item off the consent docket, then it would be moved to the cases for individual consideration.
Am I correct? Is this the case, is this the property that was demolished without a permit?
That is correct.
And that never did come in front of us even after the fact, right?
No, we brought a CA back after the fact, and the commission approved
Okay.
CA for the demolition of that structure.
I would like to see this pulled out of consent, please.
I'll second that.
Okay?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, this item involves the minor modification of an existing structure on the corner lot as a means to create a connection to a proposed structure that is at the front of the lot and to the east. And then in addition to that new structure at the front of the lot, they are also proposing a small parking lot with access out to Florida at the back of the lot. And that parking lot is basically in the same position, same location as the building that was demolished not that long ago. The reason it was on the consent calendar is because in staff's estimation, based on the guidelines and regulations we have to evaluate projects against, we felt the project was in compliance with all those guidelines, and we've kind of outlined that for the commission in our staff report, and we're prepared, and we did recommend approval of the case to the commission, and so we're prepared to answer any questions the commission may have.
Is there any discussion?
The current building that's on the corner lot there, not the one that was demolished, obviously, will that be standing, the entire building remain standing, or will a portion of that be demolished?
The only part of the building that's being touched is the front elevation, the north elevation, and that's in order to make a connection between the existing building and the proposed building. There are some other changes being made to that building. There's some new doors and windows being added on the east and I think the south elevation. But besides that, there are no significant changes to the existing structure.
Is there anybody here to speak about the new building?
Yeah,
Just to-
the applicant's here.
Do we just get an explanation or about?
I'm Joe Nelly, the architect for the project, and I'll be glad to answer any questions.
I don't have any specific questions, but maybe just an explanation on what the addition is, what it entails, size, scope. It looks like a fairly significant addition. So.
It's 1,200 square feet. It's not very big. We're removing about 600 square feet of the existing building. I think it's 600 square feet. It might be a little less. We're moving a little bit of the existing building, and the new addition is 1,200 square feet.
So I guess I'm unclear. The new addition is going to house the restaurant, and the existing building is also going to house the restaurant, or that's
No,
going to remain as separate?
It's separate.
Okay.
Will there be fencing around there's outdoor seating, is that correct?
There is existing fencing along the southern property line. There is some existing fencing on the west side of the existing building. Which takes care of the outdoor area for the existing facility.
And the rendering, it says typical awning storefront, is that the proposed, what the appearance will be for this?
Yes, what you see on the screen is the proposed, the parts that are in color.
Your material sheet, there are two different stones. Is the white one strictly for interior?
Yes,
Okay. So the exterior is going to be brownish red stucco and the grayish black stone, is
that's
that?
correct, with black accents.
The existing structure, is that going to remain similar to what it is now, or is that going to be?
We're looking at, it was mentioned that we could paint the stucco to match the stucco of the existing building. Or we might pick something that's just a little bit, it's complementary, but not quite the same, so we get a little bit of play between the two.
Are you proposing any exterior signage on the building?
There's an existing sign on the northeast corner of the property, and we're going to repurpose it.
Okay.
And we're removing the one that's on the northwest corner.
Anybody else have concerns or comments? Or
Does this meet only the minimum parking, or was there, I'm just concerned about the angle, the tightness, that one on the south end of the property just seems really tight there.
The angled parking is per code, and I think where you have one or two spaces more than was required.
I would make a motion to approve as presented.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Moving along to individual cases.
John,
Individual
excuse me, this A under individual consideration, the applicant has asked that they go last. That it follow C, they're waiting for someone else of their party to.
Okay, well, we'll move on to B then, which is UCDA 15-00029.
Yes, this application is for pretty much clearing of the existing site of all existing vegetation, existing pole sign and utility poles that are on the site, and construction of a new two-story structure. Also construction of a parking lot with a new driveway to North Ollie Avenue, new sidewalks, some new signage on the building as well, and then additionally some landscape improvements and the installation of a trash enclosure in the parking lot area. This project is at the northwest corner of Northwest 23rd and North Ollie. It's in the location of the former Hemi's Pizza. You may recall that Hemi's Pizza was demolished earlier this year without benefit of a certificate of approval, and the reason for that is because it had been declared dilapidated by the City Council, and in that situation, they are no longer required to obtain a certificate of approval. The applicant had approached the commission about 2 years ago for a demolition, and that application was never fully completed, so they never, they came to the committee, and I think the commission, they got continued. There were some concerns about the demolition of that building, but eventually, as you know, the building has been demolished, and now we're dealing with a vacant site. This building, much like the last, is in most respects consistent with the applicable regulations and guidelines for the urban design district. However, what distinguishes it from the last application is that there are some materials being proposed here that are, not materials. The issue is the compatibility of the structure, the design of the structure with the surrounding building stock, the existing stock of buildings in the immediate vicinity of the area. And we've gone through in the staff report a bit of a summary of the buildings we have to compare ourselves to, including the Circle K gas station, the AutoZone Auto Parts store. Also have the Dove Academy and the Fa Asian type retail center at Western and 23rd, and then you have two drugstores on either corner of Classen and 23rd to compare yourself to. And I think we basically pointed out in the staff report that while compatibility is a virtue in some cases, in other cases it may not necessarily be the best thing to pursue, and we feel that in this case that because it is a guideline, the compatibility issue is a guideline and does not need a variance for the commission to vary from it. You do have the latitude to allow the applicant to vary from that guideline and come up with a building that maybe sets a new standard for the area and maybe looks at re-envisioning this part of 23rd Street and what it might become in the future. So we've made a recommendation to the commission to approve this building. There are no regulations that it is in violation of. It's just this guideline about the compatibility. I think we've explained ourselves pretty well in the staff report on that issue. So we're prepared to respond to any questions the commission may have, and the applicant is present if you want to ask them any question as well. Thank you.
Any questions?
What's the total square footage of the building?
I believe it's 9,400.
I didn't see a site plan or in the packet. I'm having some difficulty completely understanding the orientation on the property.
Well, I put the site plan up on the screen. The building is positioned on the front of the lot, right up to the property line essentially on 23rd Street, and also comes out to essentially the property line on North Ollie with the parking lot situated behind it, adjacent to the alley.
Just out of curiosity, is the proposed use a mix of retail and office, or both?
Yes, it
Okay.
would be a retail base with a commercial office on the second floor.
Gotcha. And again, just curious, you recently purchased this, correct? And the lot to the north, with that as a planned future
With the
development?
plan for future development, correct.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm Shane Murray. I'm with Mass Architects.
I would just note, I think it could be a great addition to 23rd Street. Haven't seen much new construction, it's mostly renovation or rehab, and I think this will be a welcomed addition. If I'd move to approve, if no one else has any comments.
Is there any further discussion?
I like the comments that they added with their plans for the block. I thought that was helpful, and I agree with staff comments that this is new. It doesn't fit in with necessarily what's in the area, but what's in the area isn't necessarily what needs to be emulated, in a sense. I think the gold dome is very unique, and this would be unique as well. So I would make a motion to approve unless there's other comments.
Any further comments?
Might be a second, excuse me.
No further questions? Okay, we have a motion. No, I'll do that.
Okay.
I'm trying, okay, so will you restate your motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
Opposed? No. Okay. Okay. So we're going to go to 6C, which is number 31.
Yes, this item is the proposed demolition of two residential structures on the south side of Northwest 6th Street, just west of Dewey. These structures were, well, at least the front structure was originally constructed in and around 1910. Both structures are on a 25-foot wide, a narrow 25-foot wide lot. We've assessed the structural integrity of the building and provided information from the applicant to the commission explaining the various structural defects that are affecting this structure. And we basically have forwarded to the commission our standard recommendation for demolitions in the Cottage District, which is to have the commission make a determination as to whether or not the structures are significant or not significant, and based on that determination, make a recommendation of either approval or denial of the demolition. This structure has many problems that have affected and plagued other structures, similar structures in the Cottage District that have been approved for demolition in the past, and so leave it to the commission to make a decision as to whether or not this is another one that should be added to the list for approval. That completes the presentation. I'm prepared to respond to any questions the commission may have.
Okay, is there any discussion?
Where is this relative to the, didn't we have another approval?
We had an approval from Mr. Wanzer, and I believe it was about 4 lots west of this, and that was approved either last meeting or the meeting before. Same, yeah, south side of 6th Street.
Different owners?
Yes, ma'am.
Different owners.
What was the plan with the lots? What were you looking to put there, residential or commercial or?
Most likely residential. Let's look at, yeah. Yeah, Clint Spencer, CWS Properties.
Nobody has any discussion. I'd go for approval on this.
Any more questions? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Okay, back up to 6A. Which is 28. Any structure report?
All right, sorry for the delay there. This item is probably something the commission has not seen before, and perhaps you're going to be seeing a lot more of it here in the Plaza District. The proposal is to take a number of existing walls on existing buildings in the alley behind the building at the corner of the northeast corner of Indiana and Northwest 16th, and create a changeable mural program. In other words, designated areas of these walls would be called out for space for murals to be painted on. There's also one wall that faces west, actually faces North Indiana Avenue, just north of Northwest 16th, that is included in this program. The program will be curated by a team of professional artists that have a good deal of standing here in the Plaza District. We've attached their proposed curation program for you in the staff report. It lays out what their plans are for making sure that this does not become a disruption to the residential neighbors to the north of the site, and also provide some indication of how they intend to operate in terms of hours of operation and keeping the area secure during hours of non-operation. Essentially, you see here, this is the front of the building facing Northwest 26th. This is the west side of that building facing North Indiana, and this is one of the walls that would be included in the program. And then these shots here are all along the alley on the north side of that building that I showed you in the first slide. And essentially, you have about a 10 to 15 foot wide area for that alley, and a number of these walls would be incorporated in the program to be used for murals, and murals would be put up and in place for an indeterminate period of time, and then per review of the curation committee, they would be changed out and repainted by other artists at their discretion. The Arts Commission did review this proposal at their meeting, I think it was July 20th, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, and they included a series of, not having any specific art to review in conjunction with the proposal. They made a number of conditions, or suggested a number of conditions that should be considered in conjunction with any approval of this project, and we have reviewed those and felt that those were all appropriate, and accordingly we've incorporated those into our recommendation to the Commission. In addition, being that this is a kind of a new thing for not only the Plaza District but the city itself, we felt that it should be kind of monitored under a bit of a pilot program, and that's consistent with the Arts Commission recommendation, so that they would be reporting on a quarterly basis to give the city an update on whatever issues may be coming up as a result of implementation of the project and how they expect to address those issues. There's also some lighting associated with this project that would basically illuminate the back wall of the building to give people that come to view the artwork an opportunity to view it in the evening hours. And we have recommended to the Commission that the project be approved, and we've asked that the Commission set a one-year time limit on it so that we have an opportunity at the end of that 1 year to reevaluate the situation, and they would have to come back with a new application to extend the life of that project at the end of that 1 year pilot period in order to continue operation of it. The applicant is here, Mr. Bradway. He is one of the members of the curation committee, and he'd be able to, I think, explain any of the details you may be wanting to know about the curation program. But I'm also available to respond to any questions the Commission may have. That completes our presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, among the staff recommendations and the conditions, when we refer to site placement committee, we're referring to the Arts Commission site placement committee, which is a ongoing kind of ad hoc thing, not a committee of this commission.
Would you, I'm not sure I understood. Is the planning staff doing some review of this? That's what I thought I heard.
We'll be coordinating with the Arts Commission.
Coordinating with the Arts Commission?
Yeah, no entity is going to see the exact artwork that goes up.
Right.
Arts Commission and the proposal for UDC is to approve where it's going, the parameters under which it's being constructed. But nobody will see, because it's an organic, ideally it's an organic process.
Artists will submit their style and their content to us as a curatorial board, and then we would approve yea or nay.
Okay, so there's some sort of direction that doesn't just turn into...
So it's not just a free-for-all of, hey, you get permission, we don't know exactly what you're going to paint or any idea what style you are, but we would have some indication of what kind of imagery they utilize in their artwork and what style and quality they do have. So. Oh, and I'm Dylan Bradway, sorry.
Okay. Does anybody in the audience have anything they want to say about this?
I had a question. The lighting, I think, is great. Are you looking at doing cameras or anything so people don't come and tag over what's there, or what?
We'll do I'm in the Plaza District every day, but we will do a review weekly or bi-weekly to check on the site as well as business owners in the alley. And actually, Steve is developing, Steve Mason is developing a couple of new entry points to the alley, so there'll actually be businesses active in the alley as well. So it's definitely a consideration down the line if we need some sort of security if it becomes a problem.
Well, I think nowadays cameras are so reasonable, and that way
Right.
people see that there's eyes on them, to kind of give.
There are a couple back there already, I think
Okay.
installed by the businesses, just to check on their own back doors. I don't know if it's District House, but maybe Urban Wine Works, I think, might have one camera.
That would be one suggestion I'd have, just to, because the lighting is great, but,
Right.
just to, I don't know, have a
When
little.
we plan to do any graffiti abatement, so anything added that isn't something that we curated in, we would go in and either paint over it or try to quickly get an artist in there to paint over it with a new piece or something to that effect. So,
Anybody else on the commission have any questions?
I'm curious about what hours this is going to be open to the public.
we had proposed kind of a early morning to nighttime curfew, so like a 7 to 10, 7 a.m. to 10 for walkability, but 10 p.m. being like the cutoff for people back there, artists back there painting, and so there's no real noise violations at all. But walkability, one reason we do have the lights, they'd be on an auto timing system, so they would shut off at a certain point. I'm not sure what we had.
We have a photo cell based on the sun.
Yeah.
So they'll be sun up to sundown?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you want light on it all the time. Yeah, it's going to be a fun project.
And then after close, is it gated off?
It is not gated off. It's still an open alley, so there's still accessibility for the business owners back there in the first place, but also, I mean, you could walk back there without anybody telling you can't. But
Okay.
and that's currently the state as it sits now.
There's minimal impact to the neighbors. Looks like one is to the side and one's pretty far setback.
Right, and there is a fence that is in between, a wooden fence that separates the alley, and really you can only see the top few feet of the walls in the back, which I don't think the artists, unless they're really gung-ho about bringing a ladder in and all that, I think we're going to probably stick to maybe 8 feet and below.
But, I mean, and the lighting.
The lighting,
There's no concern about impacting the neighbors.
The lighting will be going down. And the lighting will be at about probably 10-foot height level. And I'm Steve Mason, and one of the project owner. So the lighting will be coming down. It won't be a street light way up in the air. And what's directly behind here is a parking lot for the apartments. And I believe Dylan has actually spoke to the neighborhood association about this.
Yeah, we approached Gatewood neighborhood and got a letter of approval from them and recommendation from them. And I did contact the the building owner for both the apartments there, and told them about the project and hadn't heard anything back from them. But like Steve said, the lighting is proposed to shine back onto the wall, so it won't actually be directed towards the windows of the apartments or anything like that. And there's actually also trees along that fence line, so they kind of diffuse any light in the first place.
And then we actually, as we talk about how the alley will look, we have an application in that's being considered, I believe, administratively to urban design gal, that'll be installing clerestory windows along there. A clerestory window, I learned 3 weeks ago, is a window that's a rectangular one above my eye level. So that will also create some activation of that alley with the windows, with the lighting, with the 3 doors we're adding for the offices in the back.
So there's going to be offices in the back, that will be their front door back there. So there'll be active.
Offices.
Okay, that'd be
And what's
nice.
great is 3 of the 4 at least.
That's really
We
good.
had really good success. There's a lot of acceptance of what's happening there. On the front side, we took an old 10,000 square foot C.R. Anthony stores and we put 5 bays in the front and they're leased. And then the back, because it's so deep, we're adding 4 offices and 3 of the 4 are leased. Just this activation for the district will be awesome. Help continue what's occurring.
I think it's a great use of the public space. It's an existing open alley. The lighting improvements alone, I think improvement. And then the art, the rotating art is I would say there's probably not a better place in the city to do this. So, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
If there's no other discussion, I would move for an approval.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
We need to articulate the conditions in the staff recommendation if that is what the committee wants.
Yes, I think that needs to be, does that need to be a separate motion, or do we need to amend the other?
I'll amend my motion to approve it for a 1-year period with the Arts Council oversight.
That okay with the second?
And I'll still second that.
Can you look at page 3 of your staff report?
Just restate the motion,
Yeah.
citing those conditions A through E in the staff
There are
report.
5 conditions.
Okay.
Revise the motion for approval to include A through E, the staff recommendation.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No.
Mr. Robinson, may I offer a final comment?
So, I'm sorry.
May I say something?
Yes, you may. I'm going to try to turn this thing off.
All right. Mr. Struvel's down there working on this stuff, Mr. Sellers is, and the district's come a long way, and this project and their projects. The district's really humming, and we appreciate your all's support of improving our neighborhood.
No,
Thank
it's
you.
an exciting place. We're happy to have the district booming again.
Thank you.
Okay, did we get that done right? Are we happy? Okay. Well, is there any more? We need to adjourn. Any further business?
We have communications. The first item is administrative approval report. There's 4 items on there that have been approved administratively by staff since the last meeting. Basically a bunch of minor items that staff normally approves on a routine basis. The appeal of the approval of the 14-unit project at 6th and Chartel. Yeah. Was scheduled to go before the BOA on August 20th. It's been continued, I believe, till...
1st or the 3rd, whatever the Thursday is.
Yeah.
3rd. Just the applicant requested a continuance, so it should,
The appellant, yeah.
yeah, it's not indicative of whether or not it would be sustained or overturned.
And then the demolition ordinance is going to Planning Commission tomorrow.
Tomorrow for final hearing.
And I don't think we have any comments from staff. So are there any comments from the commission?
Good job, staff.
Good job, commission.
Looks like we might have found a new chair.
I vowed I'd never do this. Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn? No opposition, we're adjourned. Thank you.